The financial planning and stockbroking industries are critical pillars of the Australian financial ecosystem. They play an essential role in helping individuals manage their wealth, grow their investments, and secure their financial futures. However, these industries also have their pitfalls, particularly when it comes to advising clients on direct shares. Many investors may not be fully aware of the specific requirements and licensing that financial advisors need to provide advice on direct shares, or the potential conflicts of interest that can arise when stockbrokers and advisors work together. In this video, I am going to expose the unethical practices used by financial advisors when collaborating with stockbrokers on direct share portfolios. Welcome to the Retire Well project. My name is Rob Bourne, and I'm a retired financial advisor with a passion for helping people navigate the complexities of growing their wealth for retirement. Over the years, I've helped thousands of individuals and couples manage their investments inside and outside of superannuation and their age pension entitlements. I have also seen many unethical practices conducted by advisors over the years. And today, we are going to look at those clients who use a stockbroking service in collaboration with their financial advisor. We'll also look at the warning signs you should look for and some of the better alternatives if you want exposure to direct shares. So, let's get started. In Australia, financial advisors who wish to provide advice on direct shares must meet stringent regulatory requirements. Advisors need to hold an Australian Financial Services AFS license or be an authorised representative of a licensee that holds such a license. However, advising on direct shares specifically requires an additional level of expertise and licensing. Advisors must either hold a specific stockbroking license or work in conjunction with a licensed stockbroker to provide advice on direct shares. The reality is that most financial advisors do not hold the necessary stockbroking licenses to provide direct share advice independently. Instead, they often collaborate with licensed stockbrokers approved by their licensee. This arrangement allows advisors to offer their clients access to direct shares while relying on the expertise and legal authority of stockbrokers. However, this partnership comes with its own set of challenges, particularly for clients who may not fully understand the implications of such arrangements. One of the critical requirements for advisors and stockbrokers is that a client's portfolio must be reviewed regularly, where the client is paying an ongoing service fee. In Australia, this review is typically conducted at least annually, and in many cases, quarterly. While these reviews are essential to ensure that a portfolio remains aligned with a client's goals and market conditions, they can also become a source of unnecessary costs and potential conflicts of interest. In addition to the fees charged by the financial advisor, the stockbroker typically charges an asset-based service fee, usually in the range of 0.5% to 1.5%. So, if you have a direct share portfolio of $200,000, the share broking service fee will be between $1,000 to $3,000 a year. When they tell you this includes a quarterly review, it means this is giving the stockbroker a reason to recommend changes to your portfolio 4 times a year and hence generate brokerage fees on any sell and buy recommendations made. Your financial advisor also knows this, and they may charge extra to pass on these recommendations to you at each quarter, thus generating potentially more service fees than would be incurred if only annual reviews were conducted. In addition to this, the advisor receives a kickback from the stockbroking firm either directly or through their licensee. In my years of experience as a financial planner, I have never encountered a stockbroker who recommended no changes to a portfolio following a review, and is the reason why I have never used a stockbroking service in all my years as a financial advisor. Even when a client's portfolio consists of high-quality blue-chip shares, stockbrokers often suggest changes, citing various reasons such as market trends, sector performance, or the need for diversification. While some of these recommendations may be legitimate, many are part of a systemic issue of churning. Churning refers to the practice of unnecessarily buying and selling shares in a client's portfolio to generate additional commissions for the stockbroker. This practice is not only unethical, but also detrimental to clients, as it increases their costs without necessarily improving their investment outcomes. Here's how the process typically unfolds. Service fees for portfolio reviews. Clients are charged a service fee for the stockbroker to review their portfolio. As stated earlier, this fee is usually in the range of 0.5% to 1.5%. This fee is often justified as the cost of ensuring the portfolio remains aligned with the client's objectives. 2. Recommendations for changes. During the review, the stockbroker recommends changes to the portfolio, often involving the sale of existing shares and the purchase of new ones. These changes are presented as necessary adjustments to optimize the portfolio. 3. Commissions on transactions. Every sale and purchase generates a commission for the stockbroker. This creates a financial incentive for the stockbroker to recommend changes, even when they may not be in the client's best interest. 4. Advisor fees for presenting recommendations. In addition to the stockbroker's fees, the financial advisor also charges a fee to present the stockbroker's recommendations to the client. This adds another layer of costs for the client. In most cases, the advisor is also receiving a kickback from the stockbroker for part of the brokerage fees as well. The result is a cycle of fees and commissions that erode the client's returns while enriching the stockbroker and advisor. Clients should be wary of this practice and look for warning signs such as frequent portfolio reviews, e.g. every 3 months, that result in recommended changes. Recommendations that involve selling high-quality blue-chip shares without a clear and compelling reason, and a lack of transparency about fees and commissions associated with the recommended changes. During my time working with a private financial planning firm, I encountered an advisor who consistently recommended direct shares to all his clients and rarely used managed funds. This approach was not driven by the client's best interests, but by the advisor's desire to generate more income and commissions. By focusing on direct shares, the advisor could justify frequent portfolio reviews and changes, creating a steady stream of fees and commissions. This practice highlights the importance of ethical financial advice. Clients should always question whether their advisor's recommendations are genuinely in their best interest or driven by the advisor's financial incentives. Fortunately, there are alternatives to using stockbroking services for investing in direct shares. These options can help clients avoid the pitfalls of churning while still providing exposure to high-quality or blue-chip shares. Here are some of the best alternatives. 1. Exchange-traded funds, ETFs. ETFs are a popular and cost-effective way to invest in a diversified portfolio of shares. They are traded on the stock exchange like individual shares, but offer exposure to a broad range of companies, sectors, or indices. For example, an ETF that tracks the ASX 200 provides exposure to the top 200 companies listed on the Australian Securities Exchange. Advantages of ETFs: lower fees compared to direct share investments through stockbrokers, diversification across multiple companies, reducing risk, and transparency in holdings and performance. 2. Managed funds. Managed funds pool investors' money to invest in a diversified portfolio of assets, including shares. Professional fund managers make investment decisions on behalf of the investors based on the fund's objectives. Advantages of managed funds: access to professional management and expertise, diversification across a wide range of assets, lower transaction costs compared to frequent trading of direct shares. Of course, there is the obvious disadvantage with managed funds that you cannot choose specific direct shares, but you need to weigh this up if you are invested in a direct share portfolio through your financial advisor. 3. Direct investment platforms. For clients who prefer to invest in direct shares without relying on stockbrokers, there are online investment platforms that offer low-cost trading and portfolio management tools. These platforms allow investors to take control of their investments while avoiding the high fees associated with traditional stockbroking services. These days, most online share platforms provide access to analyst research on any direct shares, although some may charge an additional fee for this. Keep in mind when looking at online stockbroking services that there are 2 distinct types depending on their license category. Those that offer no advice, such as all of the major bank platforms and private platforms like IG Markets. These are referred to as execution-only brokers. Then you have a host of other stockbroking platforms that will provide advice for an additional fee. These are the same platforms that collaborate with financial advisors, and a few examples include Bell Potter, Bridges, Morgan Stanley, and Ord Minnett. To protect against unethical practices and unnecessary costs, clients should keep the following tips in mind. 1. Ask questions. If your advisor or stockbroker recommends changes to your portfolio, ask for a detailed explanation of why the changes are necessary and how they align with your investment goals. 2. Understand fees. Ensure you have a clear understanding of all fees and commissions associated with your investments. Look for transparency and avoid advisors who are vague about costs. 3. Seek a second opinion. If you're unsure about a recommendation, consider seeking a second opinion from another financial professional. 4. Consider alternatives. Explore options like ETFs, managed funds, and online share broking services, which can provide exposure to high-quality shares without the risks of churning. 5. Focus on long-term goals. Avoid getting caught up in short-term market movements. A well-constructed portfolio of blue-chip shares can deliver strong returns over the long term without frequent trading. Conclusion. The financial planning and stockbroking industries in Australia offer valuable services, but they are not without their flaws. Clients need to be aware of the risks associated with direct share investments, particularly the practice of churning, which can erode returns and increase costs. By understanding the licensing requirements for advisors, recognizing the warning signs of unethical practices, and exploring alternative investment options like ETFs and managed funds, clients can make more informed decisions and protect their financial futures. I hope you liked this video. If you have any comments, please leave them in the description below and subscribe to the channel if you would like to keep updated with my latest videos. Thanks for watching.